he maintained all of his life an integrity toward his God, listen to me, and his family. All his life, he maintained an integrity toward God and toward his family. His family, you mean his sisters or his little brother Benjamin, all of them. He maintained, he was open to loving his cowardly, wicked, envious, knuckle-headed family. I said he was open to loving them. He was available to love them. And here's what that did to him. It kept him open to the love of God. You don't hear me. And then it kept him open to the grace of God. Then it kept him open, are you writing this down, to the ability of God to bless him. Why do you say that? Because when he arrives in Egypt, he is so still. Now you know his feelings hurt. You know he's scared. You know he's angry. But he didn't let any of that be what he was about. So often you hear people, so often as a counselor, you hear people talk about their childhood. It's legitimate, and their first marriage and their second marriage, it's legitimate, and they what their mama didn't do, what their dad wasn't around, and this, it's legitimate, but it's the main thing. It's the steering wheel of their life. It is accumulated hatred and anger and hurt and disappointment, and the accumulation is driving the vehicle of their life and living. Not Joseph. He gets to Egypt and he gets busy. He's working with the he ends up with the captain of the guard for the Pharaoh, and he ends up his slave, and he gets busy doing a good job at what he was assigned to do. Anybody hearing this morning? He made the most out of where he was and what he was doing. Anybody? Some people, you poke them and they spill out everything that has happened to them. All you got to do is just poke them a little bit. It appears that Joseph, you poke Joseph, he's like, I work for the captain of the guard. You poke him again, he tells you what his assignments are. You poke him again, he tells you how well he's determined to do the best he can with what he has. Christian brother, Christian sister, I don't care where you were born. I don't care what your prenatal care was. I'm not really interested right this moment in what kind of school you didn't go to and what kind of school you went to. I'm not really talking to you about where daddy was or is going to be. I'm not really interested in your blackness and how that affects your how you've been impacted by other people's whiteness. I don't really want to talk about any of that right now. All right. That's what other people did. That's what other people are doing. That's what other people pass laws about. That's what other people are pulling you over at night on some street in Catonsville. I don't want to talk about that, right? I want to talk about you. I want to talk about what you can control. He heard his brothers talking about what to do with him. He heard it when he was in the pit. He ends up being sold. He ends up in a foreign land with a foreign language and a foreign religion. He ends up with the captain of the guards, as it were. He ends up meeting the captain's wife, who ends up having a crush on him. Probably wasn't the first time she had a crush on somebody that wasn't the captain. he ends up running away from her. She ends up lying on him and said he was trying to get at her. He ends up now in the same arena, but now he's in prison. Right? He ends up feeling violated again, deserted again. But he stays aside. This is all what other people are doing to him. Am I making sense to anybody? Because if you're going to talk about what people done done, okay. But what about Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday? When you going to stop with what they did and get busy about what you can do? But you don't understand. I understand completely. It's you that don't understand. You got a limited number of days. Did I mention that I'm basically talking to Christian people? You got a limited number of days to glorify your God. So when you got saved, you were supposed to, remember I said that all that junk you driving on, you're supposed to get rid of that. You're supposed to forget it. You don't have to forget it. Just stop being driven by it. Am I helping anybody?